This is the sheet for value. One of our elements of art is value, the lightness or darkness of the color or shade. Our value scale shows us the range from light to dark. Here we're starting at light, and here we're starting at dark. You can see those areas on this apple. So here is the darkest, a more medium dark, mid-tones. Here's a lighter mid-tone up here, and our lightest tone. To make a hatched value, you're going to use parallel lines, the closer together to create a darker value. Crosshatch is when you cross the lines. If you draw the lines along the contour of the object, it will look more round. Stippling is small dots. The farther apart you make the dots, the louder the value. You can also do it with any mark that can be used to create value. You can apply the previous three to create that varied look. You can also blend. You can fill in the shadow and blend the midtones out from there. Your tints are going to be the light values, and your shades are going to be the dark values. The highlight is where the light is hitting. The cast shadow is the place on the opposite side from the highlight where the shadow from the object is hitting the surface. First, we're going to shade the square with crosshatch lines. All right. So here I have some lines. And then to make one of the sides look darker, I'm going to do some cross hatching. Here it says to do the circle by blending. So I'm going to create that highlight in the front where I'm not going to have any. Then I'm going to have more and more shade at the further back I get towards here. Now, you may use your finger or a smudging tool. We're going to shade the cone with hatch lines. As you can see, they're going parallel, and I just make more parallel lines where I want the darker shadow. We're going to do the rectangle with stippling. That is the dots. The closer together you put the dots, the darker it will look. And then I'm going to do the prism with some freestyle marks. Include the cast shadow and draw an arrow to the point that points to the highlight. So here, my highlight is here, so my cast shadow will be behind. Here, so my highlight is here, so my cast shadow is on this side. Here, my highlight is here, so my cast shadow goes this direction. Here, my highlight is here, so my cast shadow goes this way. Here, my highlight is here, so my cast shadow is this direction. Shade the stars with different textures. Label the tints and shades when you are done. Now to label, Here's a tint, here's a shade, shade, tint, tint, shade, shade, tint, shade. If you'd like to do more, you can do more. Now, shade the pair, number the values that match the values on the value scale. The arrow shows the direction of your light source. So, on our value scale, 5 was the lightest. So, I'm going to create this area to be that lightest section, that 5. Then around it, I might have some 4. Then in these middle sections, more that 3. Then as I'm getting further away from that highlight, it's getting darker. 4,
2.
And then I have my darkest.
One.
Remember, this is just practice. You don't need it to be perfect at all. I just want to see you doing your best. Here you're going to create a value scale. They want you to place the darkest shade on one end and the lightest on the other. Add even value steps to the boxes in between to create a smooth transition from light to dark. Here, 1 should be the darkest. And 7 should be the lightest. So 7, I'm going to leave just white, and then in 6, I'm just going to add a little bit, and then a little bit darker. Use whichever type of shading you like. When you're done, put this in the drawer.